You are now listening to the Baseball Aficionado podcast, episode number 8. Happy to be with you guys once more. And of course, before you do anything, I want to invite everybody, please make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like, the comment, subscribe, everything. And away we go. So time goes by when you're having fun. And on this episode, I'm happy to bring back one of my favorite people within the baseball community. This person joined me before several episodes back when we talked about Cuban baseball and baseball in the Caribbean and all that stuff. So I'm talking about none other than Yusseff Díaz, who does a lot of great work for Pelota Cubana online, all over the place, especially on Twitter, Instagram, the whole thing. So I'm happy to have him on with me. And we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame because, as a lot of us know, the baseball induction, the Hall of Fame inductions are coming up next month. And we do have a Latino who will be going in. Adrian Beltre mostly of the Texas Rangers, but played for many teams, Dodgers, etc. And he will be inducted on July 27th. So without further ado, I want to welcome back to the show, Yusseff Díaz.
Hey, my brother, what's going on?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
We're talking about a Dominican went to Hall of Fame. I got my Escogido jersey on today.
Escogido jersey.
I'm not an Escogido fan by far, pero bueno.
Aquí estamos, tú sabes. No, I mean, I collect hats too and shirts and all that. So,
and you have the Industriale hat. I see.
That's right. That's right.
The arch enemy of my team over there in Cuba, Santiago.
That's right. Yeah. I just love the colors. I love the history, the tradition. It's one of those things that I respect it. It's not like I follow the league like that, but great history.
No. I don't even follow that league anymore, because the talent's so terrible. But that's for
another day.
That's for another show.
Ya no es igual, right? Ya no es igual.
At all. No one stays there.
No, I hear you. It sucks. It's unfortunate. Hopefully one day when things open up, right? If things open up, you can have a better situation where people can come and go as they should be able to. Right.
Well,
and talent will come in and it helps everybody. Helps the economy. It helps.
You gotta pay,
everybody.
Man. You gotta pay. Those teams can't pay anybody. If they pay you 3,500 pesos a month, I don't think I even want to play in Miami for that much money. You know what I'm
saying? That's Miami.
Yeah,
that's right around
Miami,
the corner for you. It's right there.
Right over the bridge over there.
Right. I hear you, man. So let's get into it. You and I, we talk a lot offline. There's a lot of so next month, come July, actually it's July 21st, will be the induction Hall of Fame weekend into Cooperstown. And the interesting thing, obviously, there is a Latino there, the great third baseman Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, I think there's only one third baseman in my opinion better than him, and his name is Mike Schmidt. Other than that, this guy is hands down a great defensive third baseman, a hell of a hitter, and defense for a Dominican player. That's not the Dominican players. I'm just gonna say it lightly. They're not known for their gloves, and he was a hell of a third baseman.
Yeah, and we've you and I we've talked about that offline, and it's not a secret, and I've mentioned it to a lot of my Dominican friends. Shout out to Bodega Sports. I've told them, I've said it. I'm very Willie Bias and the other guys as well. I've said it to them because I'm very straightforward. I'm like, look, defense has not been this strong.
Not their forte. Well, I don't think they emphasize it either in DR. And a funny story about Willie. My ex-wife, that's Dominican, is from the part of Santo Domingo that he's from. Willie and I know a few people in common like that from that neighborhood. But definitely, Bodega Boys and Willie, they do a great job. But I don't think Dominicans emphasize on that, man. They emphasize hitting. Man, we talked about that too. A lot of hitting, no defense.
Right. And it's unfortunate because again, that's one of those things. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's like basket. It's the same thing like basketball. You ever see guys who, who are just all about scoring, and you're like, man, like Luka, you got like a Luka Doncic who,
Yeah.
he can't guard a lamppost. It's because he's lazy. He
Charles
doesn't want to.
Charles Barkley,
Charles
guys
Barkley,
are
same thing.
yeah, yeah. James Harden,
They right.
guys like that.
It's a
Yeah,
mindset. They could score,
yeah.
but then what happens? Like the consensus is, oh wow, what a great player. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not easily convinced because I'm like, no. But what about the other end of the basketball? Like a Jimmy
I
Butler to
mean,
me is worth
yeah.
more than a player like that.
Well, to me too. He's in my city. Pero, I mean, don't get me
Right.
wrong. You do have great Dominican defenders like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There has
Eric
been.
Ibar. Eric Ibar was a hell of a
Oh,
glove.
tremendous. Yeah.
Placido Polanco was a hell of a
Polanco,
player. Yeah, hell of a
two
glove.
gold gloves in two positions.
Yeah, but that's in the minority in that country. Like I see, Cuban players and Dominican players are more well rounded. Like especially Puerto Ricans, like they do it all. Cubans, it depends who it is. One thing about all Cuban outfielders, they can all throw.
Oh, they all
Because
got arms. That's
yeah,
true.
I was talking to Leonis Martin because he's a very good friend of mine. I was talking to Leonis the other day, and I don't think he got mad, but he because he understood the way I explained it to him. He probably misunderstood me. I told him he's not a big guy, which he's 6'2", 210, but compared to the other guys like Cespedes, Puig, and Yasmani Tomas, Soler, Adolis, pound for pound, if you look at the statistics, pound for pound, he has the best arm of all of them.
Yeah, yeah. No question. No
No,
question.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I let's go. I think Andy Pajes comes to mind as well. Andy Pajes has got a really good arm too. Outstanding. He's got a bazooka. He's got a great arm.
Pina de
You
Rio.
know.
But when it comes to like, I've always said this, and not to bring him in this conversation, but the playmaker had a point where he said that Puerto Ricans are more well rounded than Dominican players. Because like
Right.
I always said that. I said last time, I'm more scared to play Puerto Rico in international competition than DR. Because DR has a lot of swing and miss guys. Puerto Rico does
Right.
not swing
Right.
and miss, and they play with the fundamentals of the game. I hate playing those guys. It's like a heart attack
Well,
every time you play Puerto Rico.
well.
You
Here's
know,
the thing. No, you're right. You're right. And here's the thing. I think what bothers certain people is that um what bothers them
yeah,
is that they figure, okay, 2 + 2 is 4, right? You
yeah,
figure I got the names, I
yeah,
should be better. But it's like wrong, because if you have fundamentals and you know how to play together and you play
yeah.
defense, you have a chance to win. You're
Well,
gonna, you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna win.
yeah, that's on the manager, for example. All right, let's compare the Dominican team with Tony Pena, right? As opposed to this Dominican team with this gentleman who did a pitiful job. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Not only did he do a
terrible.
pitiful job with the media, the way he conveyed himself to the media, he had media members. I'm telling you this from the World Baseball Classic. I was there. He had media members stand up and walk out on him because the answer he gave, and Yadi himself didn't do a good job either.
Oh,
The way
I
he
didn't
spoke to
like
the
it. Yeah,
media,
yeah, yeah,
the way
yeah.
he spoke to the media.
Porque me da la gana. Porque me da la
Yeah, yeah,
gana. Like,
that's
you
not
don't
an
do that.
answer you
You
give the
don't do
press.
that. I was
That's not an answer you give
embarrassed.
the
I
press.
was
Yeah,
embarrassed. I was
that was not
embarrassed.
an answer you give the press. And the Puerto Rican team had a lot of talent too, a very talented team. All four Caribbean teams had talent. Venezuela was super ultra talented. Thing is that
Stack.
they gotta spread those teams around. You can't put like remember how they had in the Classic of 2006 how you put Cuba, DR, PR, and Venezuela in the same group
Yeah, then we
in the
could all
second
kill
round.
each other. You're
Yeah.
stupid. I
No,
hate
no,
that.
no. They
I
gotta
hate that.
they gotta separate. All right, put two of them. Put Venezuela and Puerto Rico, Cuba and DR together, which
I
might
agree.
be in Puerto Rico for the next Classic. It might be Cuba, DR, and Puerto Rico in the same group, which is not good.
Come
But
on. Well,
but
okay, but you know why they do that. I'm
to
not even
draw a
gonna.
crowd.
Yeah, not just that. They they want us to kill each other
Yeah.
because
Well,
that's gonna weed
that,
out the competition too.
well, Cuba also has been getting it easy lately because I remember Cuba has always been have to go to Japan, and okay, besides Japan and the Netherlands, aka Curacao, which is which is a good team that's in that hemisphere because Chinese Taipei, okay, but
Hmm.
Chinese Taipei is good for international competitions. with team. Well, for example, like
Amateurs.
no Premier 12, where players that are not on the 40-man roster play. Now, when you have MLB players they're not going to stack up to your PR, to your DR, and even now Cuba that's allowing their MLB players to play, which Paez has expressed. He has expressed interest in playing for Cuba. Expect in this World Baseball Classics coming up a lot more Cuban players because they saw that they played and they saw that the backlash wasn't that bad. You know,
Right.
for example, you could see Luis Robert. You could see Luis Robert. You could see coming back. You could see Moncada coming back. You could see Andy Paez. You could see Miguel Vargas because he's expressed interest in playing there. But the thing is, and that certain players like Jordan will probably never play for Cuba as long as that regime is there. Adolis, because Randy, he already played for Mexico. Now, if that regime was to leave, right, you would have a Yandy Diaz, who also who's a dear friend of mine, and will never play for that. As long as that regime is there, not gonna happen. You know,
right?
Not gonna happen. But
So
expect a lot more players.
No, definitely. So let's get to the Hall of Fame, right? Because the interesting thing about the Hall of Fame. So obviously, you and I, we talked about all these guys that should be in the Hall of Fame who are not, and I feel like people are bringing the. I get upset because I feel like that people try to bring the standard down, of the Hall of Fame, and I feel like you gotta, if you're gonna get in the Hall of Fame, like it's a certain standard, right?
Yeah.
So let's touch on. There's a couple non-Latinos who are getting in this class right now. I want to know your thoughts on this class, and then we could talk about like some of the ones who we think should be in, whatnot, all that stuff, right? So this induction for 721. Obviously we mentioned Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Jim Leland as the manager,
great manager,
and Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer, what are your thoughts?
I'm not so keen on Joe Mauer. I think Joe Mauer he was a good catcher, without a doubt. But the numbers just don't. 2 batting titles, I get it. Over 2,000 hits, but I don't know. I just don't. Out me as I'm a future voter. I got about 5 more years and I can vote for the Hall of Fame. I don't think Joe Mauer fits. Like Joe Mauer is in that same class with Alan Trammell, Harold Baines, good above average players. But are they Hall of Famers? I don't know.
I think he's better than those guys, though. To be honest, I think he's an even a cut above them. In my opinion, I think he's a cut above them. I'm not saying that he's on that next. I don't think of him as a Hall of Famer either. I agree, but I think he's just. I mean, come on. Then Harold Baines, he's better than Harold Baines.
Oh yeah, Harold Baines is the guy who accumulated numbers. That's who it was. The guy who played a long time and accumulated numbers. So yeah, I don't know. And I think what I want to change when I become a voter is I want to give the Latinos a more fair cut. Because back in the days, not saying now the voters are more open minded. Back in the days for Latino, it was a good old boy club. Yeah, basically it was. And I want to open, like, for example, this should be like we were talking like me, because I know we've been bashing the DR today, and that's not true because my wife's Dominican, your wife's Dominican, and
that's right.
DR is my second home. But all right, for example, we've talked about this offline. I think Tetelo Vargas should be in. This is why. You got 3 Cubans, right? You got 3 Cubans: Jose Mendez, Cristobal Tutoriente, and you got Martin Digo, which are Negro League guys that are in for the Cubans, right? Tetelo Vargas, like you said, we're talking about that. He had the highest average in a season.
That's right. Yep.
Was it 471?
471 batting title in 1943 for the New York Cubans.
Yeah. And then he hit 363 for his career.
Which there's a controversy about that. After you finish, we're gonna get to that.
No, for sure. Yeah, we were talking about that offline too. All right. He's in the Hall of Fame in Cuba. He's in the Hall of Fame in PR, and he's in the Hall of Fame in DR. Right. That's very similar to Martin Digo. Hall of Fame Venezuela, Hall of Fame in Cuba, and I think he's in the Hall of Fame in DR, if I'm not mistaken. But me and we talked about the home runs for Tetelo Vargas. But with these Negro League stats, they did a lot of barnstorming So the stat keeping was not that good.
Right.
I think, in my opinion, this is my opinion, my humble opinion. If these three guys are in, he should be in. If Cool Papa Bell's in, he should be in. You know, guys that Josh is in, he should be in, because those are guys that played on Negro Leagues. And the thing is, they have to take into account. I'm glad that the commissioner has looked at the Negro Leagues, because the Negro Leagues in some cases were probably better than the
majors.
actual.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
the competition. Look at the competition. What these guys did, who transferred into transitioned, right? The
yeah,
guys who transitioned after would
Satchel
go on to
Paige.
put on big numbers.
Satchel
Yeah,
Paige went to an All-Star game at like almost 50 years of age, no?
yeah. Oh
Satchel
yeah,
Paige.
Willie Mays.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no,
who
no,
were
no. A lot
babies
of
when they
players.
played. They were
Yeah,
babies when they played there.
yeah. Pero mira, I'm gonna give you an example. I think it was either 1912 or 1917. The world champion New York Giants, excuse me, went to play in Cuba against Almendares,
That's right.
which
Yep.
was, I think was a Cuba League champ that year. Almendares beats the Giants in 7 games. Jose Mendez, who's in the Hall of Fame, beats
Wow.
Christy Mathewson 3 times during that series, matching up.
Woo.
And then
That's right.
John McGraw, his actual manager, said, "Hey, I think I prefer this guy over that guy." And you know what's another misconception about the Negro Leagues? Ty Cobb, right? Ty Cobb was labeled as a racist. Probably was. But I did some research on Ty Cobb. He was for integration.
That's
I did
interesting.
some research. No, you
That's
gotta look it up. I looked it up. There's a misconception about Ty Cobb.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I would have never thought that. And I mean the common, what do they call, the consensus is that he was a racist. Now,
Yeah.
could he have still been a racist and before integration? Possible, because again,
in baseball,
right, yeah, right, to be
Yeah.
about integration in
Yeah.
baseball.
I don't think in life
That
he was.
I think the competitor in
Yeah.
him, if you think
Yeah.
about it, maybe he wanted that as a
Well, he
competitor.
wasn't a guy that
Two
was well
different
liked.
things.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
wasn't a guy that was well liked by his teammates, or he wasn't well
Right.
liked by anybody.
Right.
I mean, he would slide spikes up just to spike people. He wasn't very well liked by
No.
a lot. But you know what, something about that how people don't know? He died a wealthy man. He's one of the
That's
few
right.
baseball players that kept his money. Like he would be the equivalent to a couple $100 million. I think he had like $10 million during that time,
Which
is
is a
the
lot.
equivalent to a couple of 100 million. But not to speak good of that cop, because I don't think he deserves to be spoken good of. But he's one of the guys that was for integration. Babe Ruth. Well, there's a rumor that Babe Ruth was actually mixed. There's a rumor.
Right.
There's a rumor
There's
because
rumors
he was for
about
integration.
there's rumors about everybody being mixed,
Yeah,
though. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true,
and
but there's
I
a
wouldn't
lot
doubt
of
it. Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it if you look at his
yeah,
facial features. I mean,
yeah.
you
And
know,
and that's another thing about Babe Ruth. Like, right, the war on Babe Ruth. That guy was a terrible defensive outfielder. Like, he has the most inside the park home runs given up. How's his WAR so high still? Who's calculating these things?
right. And look at it. If you go look at it, I know you don't love war, but war
Yeah,
provides context sometimes, right? Because how after all these years later, I'm gonna ask a stupid question, right?
yeah,
I don't expect an answer. Here's a dumb
yeah,
question about war,
yeah.
right? How the f you come up with war from somebody who died a million years? Nobody saw him. Can
Well,
somebody explain how do you come up with the war?
how's
And the
his
guy
WAR so
has like a
high?
million. He had like a million errors in the outfield.
Yeah, he was a
Look it
terrible
up.
outfielder. He was a
So
terrible
how
outfielder.
is his war so high?
Nah, I don't know. It's like that's
I
why
don't
I
know.
don't like war,
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
a
not.
conspiracy. Yeah.
You got to give me a uniform formula.
Right.
There's no
Right.
uniform formula for it. Give me, and then the thing is, you're handing out awards based on this formula. ESPN has a different formula. Fox has a different formula. Like, give me one
Right.
uniform formula,
MLB.
make it an official stat, and then we'll go from there.
Now we
Until you
got
do
like
that,
five different wars.
yeah. Until you do that, don't talk to me about war. You know, I'm not a analytics guy. I'm not saying you're just talking about people in general. That
No,
don't
no,
talk to me about war because it's not a. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
No,
not.
I'll tell you why I'm on the fence with war. Like, I think war is good to not tell the whole story. I think war is good for context,
We
like
need
it, to
we need
shade
both.
for a little shading, a little
Yeah,
just to add the little details. I think ultimately for you to know how great a player was,
yeah,
you had to have seen him. I think that's the best way to understand or have the stories of consistency. You got to have the stories of, hey, he was great. Like Martin Diego, like you mentioned. Everybody, I heard stories for forever. My grandfather told me about him, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No. But all right, for example, the eye test. I understand a little bit of analytics, but you have to have the eye test. Like
that's right.
I'll always reference that Clint Eastwood movie, Trouble with the Curve. How he tells the guy, Clint Eastwood's blind, and he tells the guy, hey, he has a hitch in his swing. He's like, how do you know? I can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's he tells him in the movie, he's a scout. But yeah, man. The thing is, all right, they've opened up the door, and don't take us in the wrong way for computer nerds like Peter Bendix, like Andrew Freeman. I'm sorry I say it, but I'm just being honest. I'll probably get backlash for this. All right,
sigue, que se joda.
Yeah,
Sigue.
I'll give you an example. Why do you say, oh, we need to rebuild our farm system in Miami? No, you basically disintegrated a team that has gone to the playoffs 2 of the last 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. And then you wonder why people don't show up to the park because you are on your computer. And think of another thing. Tampa, which is analytically driven, let this guy go. Why? And then we pick him up, and he's in charge. And you get rid. Well, you not get rid. You make her leave because she had to leave. Like Miss Ng did a great job with their trades. Maybe the Avisal Garcia signing, I get it, but she did a good job. Brought in Soler, made a couple of Jake Berger, Josh Bell, made these trades, right?
Yeah, but she had resources though.
Yeah,
she had limited resources. Who do you think you're gonna get instead of Avisal Garcia?
Yeah,
you don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, but you could have paid you for what you paid him. You could have added on a couple more years and brought Nick Castellanos here. These guys don't understand what it is. One thing in the Marlins marketing, right? They don't understand that, and they don't understand how to market to the people and how to deal with the press. They're terrible at that. Right. They're terrible at that. Terrible at that. All right, you could have brought in Nick Castellanos, hometown boy, a Cuban, because you play in a park that's in Little Havana and you have no Cubans on your team. Doesn't make sense.
That's right.
But bueno, Tetelo Vargas.
Tetelo Vargas, right? We talked about in 1943 he had the 471 batting average.
Yeah.
Right?
2 times.
Right. No. Yeah. That's right. 2 times. Yes, 2 times. Right. Here's the thing. How come, according to MLB.com, the all-time leader in 1 year for 1 season, the highest batting average is Josh Gibson at 466. Now I have to ask the question. Explain yourselves.
We're gonna have to find that out, and as a Latino, I'm gonna have to bring that up. Like, hey, why is Tetelo Vargas not included? Like, are you excluding Latino players?
That's what I'm saying. And so I don't know what this is about because it's like I understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the greatness of Josh Gibson. I understand the greatness of Josh.
And if you put Josh Gibson's numbers together, they just haven't been able to figure that out. But he's the all-time home run champion if you put it together, more than Barry Bonds.
Right. That's right.
People understand how great Josh Gibson was because they didn't see him play. A lot of great Negro League players, man. You don't understand how great Cool Papa Bell was, how great Satchel Paige was, how great Jose Mendez was, how great was Cristóbal Toriente. He was the first 5-tool guy. Cristóbal Toriente. Him and Diego were 5-tool guys. So
that's right.
The thing is, I'm glad that they brought to the forefront the Negro Leagues. They need to be celebrated. In fact, they need to find a way to integrate the Baseball Hall of Fame with the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, which I definitely have to go visit. I would love to go visit, and I will in the future. But they need to show how great these guys were, because these guys basically were not allowed to play with their counterparts that they were probably as good as, or probably better, and then they were forgotten by history, which is bad. You don't forget history, especially because if you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it. And these guys deserve their just due. Deserve their just due for sure. But Tetelo,
absolutely, and I.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No. Go ahead about Tetelo. Go ahead.
All right, Tetelo Vargas is like Martin Diego, is like for you guys, Hiram Beaton. He's the guy. He's the guy that Well, for us, it'll be Esteban Bellan. He's the first guy to play, right? I mean, he's like your figurehead, you know?
Right, right, right. Yeah, no, you're right, and I agree with that, and it's amazing how people forget about these guys, and
Yeah,
obviously my theory about Vargas is kind of like what I told you offline, is that I felt that um the numbers aren't complete, like we
yeah,
talked about, so that like you mentioned it, he only hit 3 home runs according to record. It could have
yeah,
been more, probably is more, right?
yeah,
Over 5 seasons he probably hit more,
yeah,
but the numbers are not complete, like a Gibson, like
yeah,
like some of these other guys, Cool Papa Bell. These numbers are
yeah,
more complete, more years. That's the
yeah,
only thing I could think about, maybe. But we know that Tetelo Vargas's contributions are just beyond the Negro
yeah,
leagues. They're actually
yeah,
winter leagues as well. That's the
yeah.
difference.
Well, he's loved by Cubans. You know, he
Yeah.
played with the Leones de La Habana, and he's loved by
All
Latinos
of Latin
everywhere.
America. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they recognize his greatness.
Él murió en Puerto Rico. Él
yeah,
vivió en
no,
Puerto Rico. He lived.
he became a United States citizen. He became
He became,
a
yeah.
resident of Puerto Rico, the United States,
Yeah, he lived
or
in Puerto
resident
Rico.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
became it was almost like an adopted Puerto Rican as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
towards the end of his life. So
yeah. But no,
so
so now I get my wife off my back. Say that I bash Dominicans all the time. I'm one of the advocates for Tetelo Vargas being in the Hall of Fame. So I'm
I am
gonna
too.
yeah, definitely. But
So
no,
yeah, so let's get to, all right.
Puerto
Let's
Rican.
do,
You want to do
here we
that?
go. Wait,
Yeah.
not yet, not yet, not yet.
Uh,
We're gonna go to who we think should be in the Hall of Fame. We're gonna start with Cuba first.
okay. In
Okay?
my opinion,
We're gonna
my
start with
opinion.
Cuba.
Okay, my opinion. The elephant in the room is
Go ahead.
Louis Tion. Why is he not in?
Yeah,
What did he
yeah.
do? Louis Tion, one of the most media friendly guys, was a hell of a pitcher who had to change his style of pitcher because he hurt his arm. He was a hard thrower, and then he went to more of a deceptive pitcher. And a lot of people have mimicked his style over time. Nestor Cortez,
That's right.
Johnny Cueto pitched like him too with that back. I'm going to give you my back. Well, 229 games,
El
330
Duque
ERA.
too. El
Huh?
Duque too. You can't tell me El
Yeah,
Duque wasn't inspired. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
El Duque.
229 wins, which is probably what fourth amongst Latinos. Oh, it's probably third, isn't it? Who? All right, you got Dennis Martinez. You got
Ajá.
Bartolo Colon, and
Bartolo.
that's it, right?
Pedro.
No,
Oh, no. Juan Marichal.
yeah, you got those three ahead of him, and
I
I
think
think
Tian
okay,
is 4. I
yeah,
think Tian is 4.
all right, and arguably Pedro and Juan Marichal are the only Latino pitchers, in my opinion, that are better than him.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
so
The
why is he
more
not in the
dominant.
Hall? Yeah,
Now, Dennis, to be
no,
fair, Dennis
Pedro's the
Martinez.
best.
Yeah, for
Pedro's
sure.
the best.
No doubt.
Dennis Martinez was a good pitcher, but he accumulated numbers over time. You got
He
to give
was
him that.
healthy. He was healthy for a long
Yeah,
time. So that, yeah.
yeah, he was a good pitcher, but I wouldn't say Dennis Martinez belongs in the Hall of Fame by a long
More
shot.
of a He was more of a compiler.
Yeah, he's like the
Bartolo. Like Bartolo.
yeah. Well, those two guys are the Latin Harold Baines. They compiled a lot of numbers. You know, they compiled a lot of
Nah,
numbers.
stop it.
They compiled a
Last
lot of numbers.
time. Coño.
Not,
No, así no, tampoco.
they compiled them like,
Bro.
but you gotta talk like Tiant one has 2 ERA titles, over
Right.
2,400 strikeouts,
That's
and not
right.
only that, he was a heck of a pitcher, man. And you know who's a better
Yeah.
pitcher than he was? His father, Louis Tiant Sr.
I heard.
Left-handed pitcher. His last year, because his father only pitched in the Negro leagues. His last year before he retired, he went 9-0 with like a
Wow.
1-something ERA. I actually wrote something about that because his son. I talked to his son. I've actually interviewed Louis like this. Like I was doing a live show. Great interview, Louis Tiant. He's at his advanced stage. He's still very lucid, and he talks to you like he tells you how it is, and great interview. His son Dan is a good friend of mine, which thanks to Dan, I gotta give him the thanks. He was able to get us to interview him live. During
Se ve bien humilde.
nicest guy in the world. This was during the pandemic. we were able to interview Louis Tia. But Louis has instructed his family, if he doesn't get in, if he gets in after he passes away, not to go to the ceremony.
Wow.
It's a
That's sad.
deservedly show he should have been in. Because if you look
Yeah.
at his numbers, right, take away the two Cy Youngs from Catfish Hunter, right, same numbers, the
Right.
same numbers.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you could argue that he could
And
have
he
been a
wasn't
Cy
better.
Young.
He wasn't better. He wasn't better. Catfish
Yeah.
Hunter wasn't better than him.
They
It's
were
close, but
there.
I don't think you.
There were two good pitchers, but I think during his time there was only one Cy Young award given for both leagues, right?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
So it was that much more difficult.
Yeah, no, Louis was a hell of a pitcher. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And if you want to touch up on another Cuban, right? And this
So
guy
yeah,
was,
I got that. I have the list right here that I'm gonna bring up right here.
okay, for sure.
So Luis Tian, right? So that's
Yeah.
all right. So that's a good one. All right, your thoughts. We talked about it offline, but we got to bring it up here.
Yeah.
So Rafael Palmeiro.
Yeah, but well,
No, put the other part to the side.
yeah,
You can mention everything else, baseball,
Yeah.
steroids, whatever. But I'm
Yeah.
saying personal
No, he's a hell of
stuff
a hitter.
aside.
He's a hell of a hitter. One thing about that I was told, I don't know if it's true, but he wasn't revered by his teammates either.
Right, right.
No, but if you look at it, he was a two-way player. He could hit and field. But I mean, if you're
Gold
gonna
Glove
put, there's
winner.
guys, yeah, there's guys in the Hall of Fame with the cloud. That's that steroid cloud. You know what I'm saying? There's guys. There's guys. I'm not gonna mention. I don't want to. But there's guys that have been elected, and there's guys that've been on the list of those 100 players. That
Oh, we know who they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
te va a calentar de nuevo.
no, it's cool. I'm not
No te
gonna
vuelva a
mention them.
calentar de tu-
And not to say those guys in the Hall of Fame is because they are. Remember,
Right.
because the thing is, everybody during that time
A
was
lot
using
were.
the whole. You could say most of MLB was using steroids. So if they were great during that time, they should be in.
Right.
They should be in. They should be in. And the thing is with Palmeiro, they caught him late in his career. You know, late in his career, and so
Sure, it wasn't Viagra.
it could have been because he did good
The
commercials. For that,
commercials?
yeah, but no. He was a heck of a player. Definitely a heck of a player.
All right, the next steroid guy, the big mouth, el chivato,
Canseco, nah, he
Jose
doesn't belong
Canseco. All right,
there. Because all right, he was the first 40-40 guy, right?
right.
But all right, for his because all right, he played a long time. Vladdy got in because he doesn't have 500 home runs because Vladdy didn't play as long as Canseco. And let's be honest, Vladdy's a way better player than Canseco all around. Vladdy's probably the best bad ball hitter ever to play, right? Canseco, okay, he was speed and power, terrible fielder. You know, terrible fielder. His batting average, his slash line, what he had 2,200 hits. Did he even have 2,000 hits? I don't think he even had 2,000 hits.
I don't know if he ever got to 2,000 hits. He was kind of like all or nothing in his approach.
Yeah,
You know,
well, he had a
hitting.
very destructive swing. He had a very, very destructive swing. That's why he was always injured. His back, because he had one of the most destructive swings in the history of the game. Was he pure power? Yes, he was. And look, this is the argument for steroids. Steroids don't make you a great player. You make yourself a great player. They might help you a little bit, turn a normal fly ball into a home run. But take a look at his brother Ozzy. Twins, identical twins, right? Both use steroids. Both use steroids. Yeah, both use steroids. Well, he wasn't a good major league player. They both use steroids. Jose hits 462. Well, I'm talking about home runs, and Ozzy never hit one in the major leagues. So I'll tell you, was he? Yeah, but I don't know. It'd be tough to vote for Canseco for the Hall of Fame. I don't think he belongs in there.
I agree. So moving on to, all right, here we go. Moving on to the other neighbors.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, but let me touch
Now
up
we
on one
know.
Cuban.
Go ahead.
We forgot this guy, Adolfo Luque.
That's right. Yeah. Adolfo
194 wins, right? Two-time ERA champion, has the most wins by a Latino in a season, 27, 1923, right? Is in the Hall of Fame in Cuba, but one of the few white players, white Latinos to play against black players because he played in Cuba. He played in,
That's
in
right.
Havana, and
That's
he was
right.
he basically he was revered by players. He was a no nonsense guy. His in the major leagues, typical Latin, hot tempered guy. You know that's all we are.
Right.
But
Right. Right. Yeah.
I think he thing is he didn't strike out a lot of people. That's what
Right.
he had like 1,100 strikeouts. But I don't know. I think Luque should be in the Hall.
A two-time World Series champ.
That 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 too. That too.
Two-time
And 100.
ERA title too.
Yeah. 194 wins. So yeah. But go ahead. I just want to touch
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
guy.
no, definitely. I think there's an argument for him to be made in that, and think about obviously he benefited from, he was not a Afro Latino, so he
No.
was able to reap the benefits of that where he
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
blended in,
Yeah.
and but you know what? Even so, there, there's still disadvantages to that because he still was doing something that hadn't been done, so he does
Yeah.
deserve credit for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he's still.
Yeah.
Como quiera
Okay.
difícil, you still gotta, you don't know the language, you still
Yeah.
gotta
No, you still got,
navigate through cultural differences.
and you're playing against the allowable allowable best talent
Right,
in the world at that time.
right,
You know?
right, and performing at the highest level.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely
yeah,
was.
yeah,
Definitely was.
definitely. So a lo vecino, ahora lo vecino, Dominican Republic, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, in a couple years, Albert Pujols, I'm not even gonna ask because
100%. Yeah.
right,
That's not even worth
Albert Pujols,
arguing. Yeah. That's not
right,
even worth
Albert
discussing.
Pujols. All right, so I'm gonna ask you. I got more on this list. Here we go. Okay, steroid guys now.
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa.
Yes.
Okay,
5'2" guy. Yes.
Sammy Sosa. All right, Manny Ramirez.
No. You got caught twice, bro. Those two-time guys, him and A-Rod, never. I'm sorry.
No. Okay,
Once
so
again,
you explain. Go ahead. Explain the distinction.
once can happen. You could take a supplement by mistake. You could do this. Look at Ryan Garcia. Supposedly took something that he wasn't sure, and he came up positive for aspirin.
Mhm.
But no, you get caught twice, bro. And not that you tried to mask it with female hormones,
Estrogen. Yeah.
like Manny did. No. And if you look at that movie, Anthony Bosch tells you, the guy from here in Miami, that clinic in Miami, tells you that when he got to Manny had the testosterone of a 70-year-old man. He tells you it in the movie. So obviously, was he a hell of a hitter? Yes, but obviously the testosterone, what he used, helped him. A-Rod would have been a Hall of Famer without steroids, but he
So you
chose to
would
use
put
them twice.
A-Rod in. So you would put A-Rod in.
No, because what he did
No.
twice. Yeah,
Oh,
because what he
twice.
did twice.
Okay.
Yeah, those two-time guys, no. Sammy,
Okay.
yes. Sammy, both Sammys definitely belong in the Hall of Fame. So there's two Sammy Sosas. I'm not even gonna touch that. There's two Sammy Sosas.
Tú dices el moreno y el blanco.
Yeah, but
Oh,
no.
come on.
All jokes aside, remember Sammy brought himself from being he used to shine shoes in DR. Brought
Right.
himself from being a shoe shiner to probably one of the best Dominican players and sluggers of all time. And Sammy was a pretty decent fielder, had a good arm, could run. In my opinion, definitely Sammy belongs in the Hall of Fame without a doubt.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm okay. So I'll give you my thoughts on. I agree with you on Sammy. I agree with you on Manny. And I kind of agree with you on A-Rod as well. But with Sammy, it's hard for me to say this. I have a weird thing with Sammy because I almost feel like he was a better player before he took steroids, and I'll explain what I mean. Not hitting, not like numbers wise, but I feel like he was more well-rounded. Whereas I feel like he became too infatuated with just hitting home runs.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Even though the
Yeah, no,
numbers
well,
will say, wow,
got
look at the
bigger.
numbers, but
No, but he got
yeah,
bigger. That's the problem. Because
he
he was the
started
same
striking
player.
out more.
Yeah.
Striking out more too.
But he saved the game.
He did.
Him and
Yes.
Mark McGuire.
Yeah, they
saved the
did.
game
They did.
after the
Strike
strike, and people don't appreciate
94.
that. Yeah, people don't
Yeah.
appreciate that Sammy saved the game. That
We're a bunch
summer
of
when Sammy,
hypocrites. People are
yeah,
hypocrites.
yeah, Sammy and Mark McGuire, that summer, that was a
Yeah,
great summer, man. Them going back and forth,
it
him
was
and Mark
great.
McGuire.
It was
Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, yeah, I
no,
agree. I gotta
that
be honest.
definitely,
Yeah, we
yeah,
shouldn't be
Sammy,
hypocrites about it. You're right.
yeah, Sammy belongs in. Sammy belongs in. Sammy definitely belongs in
Okay,
on the team.
so here are some guys now. Here are some borderline guys. I want to
Yeah,
know your opinion because yo tengo
yeah.
mucha amistad de dominicanos y si es por ello, pues todos los dominicanos van a
Everybody
entrar.
gets in. Yeah, I know.
Everybody gets in, right? So, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna be objective here. Aramis Ramirez.
great fielder, home run hitter. Numbers don't match up. That's
I
another
agree.
Dominican that was a hell of a fielder at third base.
I actually, you know what though? I gotta be honest with you, and I saw him.
Yeah,
I disagree. I don't think he was a
yep.
great fielder.
Look at his
No,
numbers.
he was okay fielder. I thought he wasn't bad,
Yeah.
but he wasn't like Machado or any of these guys. You know, like he was
Oh,
good defensively,
uh,
good hitter, great hitter.
Machado's Latino. Machado's of Dominican descent, but Machado's more of an American product than a
Right,
Dominican
right,
product.
right,
Now, I'll take away I'm one of the ones that a lot of people think that to be a Latino you have to be born outside the United States. No, Latino's an ethnicity. My son is
right.
Latino. He was born,
That's right,
I was actually born in Cuba. My son was born here. He's
right.
still a Latino, but I'm talking about his upbringing. My child's from right here. He's from my city, from Hialeah, Florida. No,
Well, he got the
my child,
South Florida. No, there's something different. There's a distinction. He's
yeah,
got that South Florida baseball pedigree, which is
yeah,
major. Remember, South
yeah,
Florida's got that
yeah.
baseball.
Well,
They're
a lot of
baseball
Latins here.
heavyweights.
Yeah,
That's right.
Cubans, Venezuelans, Puerto Ricans, Nicaraguans.
South Florida. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because this kid, Carlos Rodriguez, whose dad is Cuban, but he was born in Nicaragua, grew up in Miami. He's a South Florida product too for the Brewers.
That's right.
Pero
Yep.
yeah, like for example, like because I'm like in Cuba, there's one thing in Cuba they don't recognize people of Cuban descent. Like Carlos Rodon went to Cuba and pitched against them, and they would say "El Norteamericano." What I love about Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, if you're of their descent, they say "Este es Boricua, este es Dominicano."
Uh-huh.
Cubans don't
Yeah.
do that because of that regime. For example, Carlos Rodon, Fernando Vina, a lot of guys, Gio Gonzalez, that were not recognized as Cubans, even though they are. Their parents are Cuban. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that like Nick Castellanos now, you know, there's a lot of good players. JD Martinez, you know, because some of them Nolan, who's half and
Arenado.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
mostly Cuban. Yeah.
yeah. But even Nolan tells you himself when I interview Nolan, when he speaks about Cubans, he says us. He doesn't say no, he says
Right.
us. And he's been pictured with a Cuban flag before.
I
So that's the
respect. No,
problem.
I respect that. I respect that.
No, and that's the problem with it with some Cubans. They don't recognize their, you know. But Manny, well, who was it you wanted? Who else was on
No,
the
no,
list? You were talking about?
well, I was just bringing up.
Yeah,
Remember, I
Ramirez.
compared Ramirez saying that he
Yeah,
was not quite
I,
as good as Machado, but Machado, like you said, he's a Dominicano. Like
yeah.
he se siente
No,
Dominicano. He represented a Dominicano.
yeah, I love that
Yeah,
man. That he chose to play for DR instead of the United States.
a
You know,
Dominicano.
I love that. Like I have a friend that says no, and no nació aquí, and no Dominicano. And one of my friends is a good friend I grew up with. Doesn't even think Vladdy is Dominican because he was born in Canada. Like
No, come on.
you have to. I know you have to. You have to celebrate that. Ronnie Belliard was born in New York.
Yeah,
Deyin Betance is another guy. He was born here, but he decided to represent the BR.
Puerto Rico,
Felix
Dominican.
Sanchez, Felix Sanchez in track and field. He could easily win those gold medals for the United States. But he chose
Dominicano.
to, yeah, you have to celebrate guys like that
Yeah,
that are proud of
yeah.
their culture and their heritage. But Adami's not, man. I wouldn't vote for him. I mean, I can't vote for
I
him now
agree.
anymore, but I don't think he belongs in.
So last one I'm gonna bring up from Dominican Republic. This is a controversial one for some, but
Yeah.
Alfonso Soriano.
I would say the only thing that kills him is a high number of strikeouts. But he was a 40-40 guy. I mean, no, yeah, he was a 40-40 guy.
Yeah, 40-40 guy. Yep.
Yeah, he was a 40-40 guy.
Stole a lot of
He hit,
bases.
yeah, he hit over 400 home runs, and he's a guy that did not get signed at 16. He's a guy that had to go to Japan, sign over there, and then came over here.
Yeah.
Remember that. You know, the thing that kills him, he's a terrible fielder. Couldn't field
Oh,
at second, couldn't field in
oh.
the outfield. But he's a heck
He
of a
could
hitter.
field nowhere. Couldn't field anywhere. He
Yeah,
was a terrible. I always looked at Alfonso Soriano. This is
yeah.
me. First of all, he's not a Hall of Famer, but
I
I
mean,
always
I
looked
think,
at him
yeah,
like a guy with no position because he
yeah,
was
that's the problem.
so terrible, not bad or
Yeah.
mediocre, terrible with the glove, but he
Okay.
was so dynamic offensively.
All right. He doesn't have the numbers of Big Poppy. The Big Poppy's another guy that where's he gonna field? You know he's a career
He
DH,
was
Big Poppy.
awful, awful
Yeah,
defensively.
but his numbers are so off the charts that
Over
he
off the charts, yeah.
yeah, and he deserved to be in on the. I was upset that he didn't get in. He didn't. Was he in the 90 per percentile? I don't think he even was when he got in. A big
No,
pop,
it was about 75 or 80 something around there.
80, 85%, something like that. But
Something like
Big
that.
Poppy's the guy that belonged in. That guy was a hell of it. Probably the best DH in the. Him and Edgar Martinez, the two best DHs in the history of the game. And it took Martinez a long time to get in because he wasn't that. He was a terrible fielder, but he belonged
You
in
know,
too.
here's the thing. Do you know why he was a terrible fielder? Let
No,
me
I
ask
don't
you
know.
why.
No, I
So
don't.
so a lot of people have the misconception. I'm glad you brought up Edgar.
Yeah,
A lot of people, I feel like it's my job to defend him. So
no, he belongs
here's
there.
here's the thing, right? The reason why he was moved off third base was not that he couldn't field. He had an eye condition that
Oh wow.
prevented, which made it challenging for depth perception on certain
Oh, ground balls.
movements. Yes.
Yeah,
So there were times where he got hit in the face. There were
yeah,
times where he got even there were a couple at bats where he would lose the ball and he
yeah,
almost got hit in the face. That
yeah,
happened a lot of times when he went to bat. So the fact that he had that disease,
yeah,
I forget what it's called, but it's a disease. And
yeah.
he had that his whole life and he was able to play baseball through it. It's
That
amazing.
makes it even more. He should have been in the Hall of Fame earlier because he had what he won what two or three batting. How many batting titles he won? Three.
Two batting titles.
Okay,
One of the few players in history to hit over 300, 400 on base, and 500 slugging.
okay. So what does that tell you? He's a great hitter in spite of
Great hitter.
his shortcomings with
Vision.
the vision. So that he should have been in. That yeah, I don't argue that Edgar Martinez he belongs on. He should have been on him way before he got in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that's what I'll harp back on it. For Latino, like you got to get over the hill. While Alan Trump was in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
it's a joke, bro. It's a
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
Horrible. So obviously, Alex Rodriguez, we touched on it. You said he's got how many? He's not 2-time. He's like 3-time. How many?
No, it's two,
2-time.
two,
I
two.
think it is 2-time.
Yeah, two, two, two,
It
two,
could have
two.
been like 4 though. If it,
Yeah,
if it
Lord knows, but I'm not. No,
so
he doesn't
no
belong.
A-Rod.
No,
All right, I got you. Yeah, I'm with you. So all right, va para Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. All right, Carlos Beltrán.
hands down, yes. And I'll tell you why. 400 home runs, right? 300 stolen bases, right? 2,700 hits at 851 OPS,
OPS.
more than 500 doubles, right?
Yeah.
Why is this guy not in the Hall of Fame?
Leader among switch hitters, by the way. He's
Yeah,
actually in top 5 in every statistical
and
category
was a heck
among
of a
switch
fielder
hitters.
too. Was a heck of a
Yep,
fielder too. So why is he not in? He was a 5 tool guy.
that's right.
Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Why?
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
against St. Louis he struck out to end the. No, I'm joking. It's a joke. That that
Nah.
that that. Well,
Yeah, no,
that
I get it. I get it.
Wainwright.
Yeah.
He struck out against a hell of a pitcher too. Wainwright.
They're gonna hold that
Wainwright.
against him forever. Yeah.
Nah. I'm just joking. I don't think they do, but he should believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I
Absolutely
I,
should.
I would choose him, even though I play different positions, over uh, Ty Helton. Even though Ty Helton was a heck of a player, were his numbers inflated because he played in Colorado is his whole career?
Mm, that's hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Maybe. I mean, he was. I like Todd Helton. I think he should
No,
be
no,
in.
heck of
But
a player.
you make a good
Heck of a player.
argument, though. Good argument.
Yeah. You know?
Oh, so that's interesting. So you brought up. I'm with you there. Carlos
Yeah.
Beltrán deserves to be in. It's a joke that he's
That's
not
not
in.
even.
So
I'm not. I'm
stupid.
not. Anybody says otherwise, I'm not even gonna entertain an argument with him. I'm just gonna walk away from him because that guy belongs in the
Stupid.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Hall of Famer. He's probably the greatest major league Latino center fielder of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's arguable.
Him, well,
My,
him. Well, he's better than Cesar Cedeño. That's the guy we didn't bring up with Dominicans. Cesar Cedeño has
right, yeah.
his numbers very similar to Mini Miñoso.
Right, right.
Cesar Cedeño, yeah. Cedeño's he's an underlooked guy. So
Yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
definitely, definitely. He had
yeah,
hit for average, stole a
yeah,
lot of bases, Gold
yeah.
Glove winner. But
Hell of a
there's an
player.
elephant in the room,
But
and when it comes to character and stuff
yeah,
like that,
but that's a lot of Latin players, man. A lot of
yeah,
Latin
no,
players,
no, no,
like
no.
yeah.
But you know what he did, right? So
But oh, he
okay,
killed
so
somebody. Right?
he killed one of his girlfriends. That's what they say. That's
Oh
what the
wow.
reports are.
I mean,
So
you gotta prove
that's
that. You
why
gotta
he's
prove
not.
that. You gotta prove that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prove that. I don't know, but I mean, if he wasn't
They say he did time. So
did he do time?
a little bit.
Mm.
It was in
I would
DR,
yeah
different time, but
yeah I would definitely have to look that up. But I'm talking about
yeah,
on the playing field.
on the field,
He belongs in.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah
On the field, just based on the criteria that they
yeah.
use, though, I don't see it just because of that. That's a big
All right.
one. Like,
I'm gonna give
unfortunately.
you a Venezuelan, Vizquel.
Wait, hold on. Oh,
Yeah
okay. I'm glad you know what? All right.
yeah.
Well, I'll give you Vizquel, and then I wanted to run through a few more Puerto Ricans, but
Oh, no,
I'm
no, no,
gonna
no,
do
no, no,
Vizquel.
no, no, no. Go. Let's go through the Puerto Ricans first, and then we'll get back to the scale. Because
All right.
yeah,
All right. Um, Yadier Molina.
yes, of course. That's not even an
Yeah.
argument. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yadier Molina, one of the best defensive catchers of all
yeah,
time.
yeah.
2,000 plus hits. Yeah, I agree. All right.
Great catcher. Terrible,
Great
terrible
catcher.
manager. Terrible manager.
Terrible. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Terrible. He shouldn't manage anymore. I agree.
So,
So, all right, here's a hard one. Oh, no. This is an easy one. The next one I'm going to give you, Carlos Delgado.
yes, I
Yeah.
think he
Yeah.
is over 400 and what he has 440 home runs. More,
474.
even better, even better.
Puerto Rican home
Yeah.
run king.
You know what kills him though? I think that national anthem thing kills him. People
Yeah.
seem to hold that
Yeah.
against him.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, but we're supposed to be one of the freest country, well, the freest country in the world, right? Freedom of speech, right? Like, I mean, even though I don't agree with him sitting down, I mean, because me myself, this
No,
country's
you're a
taking
veteran.
me in.
You're a veteran. I
Yeah,
understand.
that too, and this country taking me in. But this is another thing. I went to war. My son joined the military to protect that freedom. Like, I don't agree with Kaepernick kneeling, but I would fight to protect his right to kneel. Like I would fight to protect Carlos Delgado's right to sit down. It's a free
Right.
country, man.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
Now,
Right.
now, do you have to pay the consequences for certain people that are not as open-minded as I am? That's another thing of being a free society. People have their own opinion. Like I think he should be in, no matter what. Just like I
Right.
thought Kaepernick should
Right.
have been in the NFL, because you couldn't name. All right, you couldn't name 32 starters that were better than him, right?
No.
During
No.
during that time.
When he was young.
That's the
Yeah. When
problem.
he was still younger.
Yeah, that's the problem. But the problem is this is a private business. You know,
That's right.
the owners reserve the right to sign you. The
Right.
writers reserve the right not to let you in the
Hall of
hall.
Fame.
Or
That's
yeah,
right.
I think he should be in the hall.
I agree with
Whatever
you.
his reasons were, because I never really looked up why he was sitting down. But
So
it's still a free country.
he was against the war in Iraq.
Okay.
He was against the war in Iraq, and then another thing also was a lot of the stuff that was going on with U.S. and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
He didn't like the treatment of Puerto Rico being second-class citizens in, to the U.S. government. Whether fair or not, he had his reasons. He was
No,
against that,
he's totally
and
right.
that should not be held against him for what
Okay.
he did on the field. Like he never had any
Yeah.
controversy as far as
It's his
like,
opinion. It's his opinion. His
right.
opinion. Whether you agree with him or not, it's his opinion. You know, and
Yeah.
when in the issue of Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans, well, they should be allowed the right to choose what they want, and whatever they decide, I agree with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like
Right.
I said, Kaepernick and Carlos Delgado have the right to express themselves, and we as writers should not hold that against them, because that's not on the field. They
That's
didn't kill
right.
anybody. They didn't kill
Right.
anybody. You know, like they didn't. They're not criminals. You know, whether you agree
Right.
whether you agree with their ideals or not, it doesn't take away from them being a good player.
That's
You see
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
And he's a hero for us. He's a Marlins. He was a good player for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Great
Yeah.
player.
Yeah. I
So,
have no problem with Carlos Delgado.
all right, I got one more. This one's a little more complicated, and I'll
Yeah.
explain why. But Bernie Williams.
Yes. Yes. The
That's
problem is
interesting.
his home run
We
numbers.
we disagree. You know what's funny? We disagree on this one. But would I like to see him get in? Yeah, of course. I want him all in.
I mean, you had to see
But
Bernie Williams play. That's the problem.
I did. I mean,
No,
obviously
no,
I
no, no, no,
did.
no. I'm not saying you. People,
General
other people. I mean, he's part of that Yankee machine that won all
Dynasty.
the titles. Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
was
part
one
of
of the
that.
main guys. He was more
In the
important than Jeter
playoffs,
was back then in the playoffs.
he's in the playoffs. That guy was a horse.
Yeah.
That guy was a horse. I think he belongs in. His hit numbers are okay. And by the way, that guy killed us in the 2006 Classic.
I
That guy killed us.
remember.
Yeah.
Oh my God, clutch.
Yeah. I love Bernie Williams. I think Bernie Williams is a heck of a player.
You guys got the last laugh though. So
yeah, but
don't
it might
remind me
have
of
been
Pedro Lasso. Don't get me started with that
No.
curve that goes
No,
like
no,
that.
pero
It goes
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, no, pero the problem was, remember, Carlos Delgado was hurt for that tournament.
That's right.
Things might have been different if Carlos Delgado would have played. I don't take anything away from the Puerto Ricans, man. You guys are Latins in general. Like, so the thing is, between us Latins, we got to stop being particular to our country and be
That's
more
right.
open-minded. That's like my wife and I always tell her, like, take that the flag
The
is
Dominican
covering your
flag
eyes.
off your head.
Yeah, that's covering your eyes. Like, I'm one of the most critical guys when it comes to Cuban players. Well, you've heard me when it comes to Cuban players.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm very objective. I'm very analytical when it comes to, because I eventually we'll have a Hall of Fame vote, and I want to be fair.
That's right.
If you belong
That's
in, you
right.
belong in. That's it. That's the problem. We shouldn't be particular to one country. We're
I
all
agree.
great players, and people that belong in. I like Bernie. I think Bernie was a hell of a player. Bernie was a spark plug for that Yankee team. You know?
Agreed.
So,
yeah, I think, and it's funny because I think he still has a chance to get in with the Veterans Committee because I'll tell you why.
I would go for him.
Because Joe Torre still works with MLB.
Yeah.
So I think
And
he might pull strings behind.
Yeah.
I think he
No,
might.
all right.
Yeah. So I think.
All right. How about let's compare two people. Compare Minnie, who's in, to Bernie. What do you say?
You're right. No, you're right. That's a good comparison because you could make the argument that Minnie and Bernie are about the same.
Yeah. And
they're the same.
And not to beat a dead horse, Harold Baines and Alan Trammell. If that's the baseline, then Bernie should have been in the
Bernie. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, because his number. Come on, his name is all over the damn postseason records. Go look at the name. His name is everywhere. RBI, Bernie Williams, home run, top 2 or 3, and hits everywhere.
And I think Harold Baines is gonna see this and be the president of the I Hate Yusseff fan club. But
that's right.
I'm just saying, like, his number. Like, don't get me wrong, he was a heck of a player.
Yeah.
Harold was a heck of a hitter. But I think just Bernie is a better player.
Better player.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Minnie Mignoso and Bernie is a great comp. I think it's a great comp. That was excellent. You could. The only thing that puts Bernie over maybe is just like the postseason stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, and that he's a Yankee. You know, if you're a Yankee, you're gonna.
No, but Bernie, I'm a big Bernie Williams fan. Bernie belongs in Hall of Fame. Now, you know the guy I don't think belongs in? Posada.
Oh, espérate. Esto es personal.
No, it's not personal. I just think
it's cubano.
No, it's not. Well, he's half Dominican, half Cuban, but he was born in PR. But if you ask him, he identifies as too. Yeah, he identifies as he's Puerto Rican. He's a good catcher. He was part of the teams too, but I don't think he belongs in.
He's not a Hall of Fame. No, I agree with you. He's not a Hall of Famer. Not a Hall of Famer. Very good, but it wasn't a Hall of Fame. I agree with you. I was
talking to El Duque. I don't mean to cut you off. You know what he used to do to El Duque before every start? And El Duque is a very mild-mannered guy. Nicest guy, doesn't get mad. He's trying to get El Duque mad because El Duque pitched better when he was mad.
That was smart.
I was talking to Duque, and I was like, because I heard him say it in an interview, and I asked Duque, "Hey, Duque, is that true? He was like, yeah, every start. He used to try to get me mad.
I love El Duque, like how
Nice guy.
I love what
Great
he's
guy.
done. He's
Great guy.
so humble. Hey, look.
Great
We're
guy. No,
talking about El Duque, talking
if,
about El Duque.
well, whenever you come down, because I see El Duque, you need to come down for whenever they have I don't know if they're gonna have a City of Caribe anytime soon, but El Duque is always at the City of the Caribe, and I saw him because he does the broadcast for ESPN,
Right,
and
Spanish, yeah.
every time I see him, like we have a nice conversation because he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I always tell him I don't speak Spanish, and he starts laughing. Sorry, sir, I don't speak Spanish, and he starts laughing. But
Pa hacerlo hablar inglés, right?
no,
So,
no, no, no,
ponerlo a hablar inglés.
just
I
because I
love
have
him.
no, great guy. Because I have a running joke with all my friends that are Cuban. Oh, I'm Cuban. I was born there, but I tell them I wasn't born in Cuba. I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm telling them I'm not Cuban. So you guys are Cuban.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah. So I'm an American, guys. No, pero El Duque is if he El Duque comes here young, he wins close to 300 games. He won 90
Agreed.
games. Came here at 32. He won 90 games. You know, El Duque.
Y cuidado si tenía más de ahí. Because
yeah, no, because he know how to pitch.
he could have been 36.
Throw here, throw here, throw here.
His
Yeah,
leg
no, no,
like up to here. His leg is
yeah.
like up to here.
No, El Duque. You know who's another guy that didn't come, but is comparable to El Duque? No, Luis Vera. Pitch for Santiago.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Pitch just like El Duque, that big leg kick. No, El Duque. Thing is, El Duque threw hard. 94, 95. When he was young. Yeah, had different types of deliveries. Overhand, 3/4 sidearm, threw a bunch of pitches. I think he could probably throw with his foot if you let him, bro.
If he had to,
He threw so many pitches. Now, Duque, us Cubans love El Duque, not only for what he stands for as a pitcher, but for what he stands for as a person. He's like one of the exile community loves him. He's one of our leaders in the exile community when it comes to the battle with that regime over there.
Right. Yeah, because he's outspoken about. Yeah, he's very outspoken, and he's not afraid.
Great guy.
He's not afraid.
We've had conversations because he laughs at because I have a tattoo on my chest that says "Patria y Vida," like the saying. So he laughs because I told him the story when I went to Cuba and I took off my shirt by mistake. That's the anti-government slogan. And he told me, "You're crazy." I was like, I forgot.
Yo tenía calor. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Forgot,
I forgot,
right?
Nah, because I went to Cuba to see my family, and within family conversation, and we had a few drinks, and I just forgot. You know what I'm saying? I forgot. Like it's hot, and it's very hot in Cuba.
Of course, they didn't come, and they didn't come for you.
Thank God. Well, my uncle calmly reminded me, "Hey, put your shirt back on, man. Go inside and put a white T-shirt at least." But yeah, no, El Duque, us in the exile community, we love El Duque. We love El Duque.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So vamos a hablar un poquito de Venezuela, right? So you had mentioned. Go ahead. Let's start with Omar Vizquel. Go ahead.
Numbers are borderline. Over 2,000 hits. Gold Glove. He's wow. Like you can't. Probably the best fielder out of all Latins at the shortstop position ever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
But there's a cloud hanging over him. That incident he had with the kid. I don't know. I haven't really researched it, but for Enrique Rojas to bring that up, it has to be something significant. Because I know Enrique. I've talked to Enrique. I never really asked Enrique about it, but for him to bring that up, he's a very, when it comes to voting, he's a pretty high character guy. So for Enrique, who's a respected journalist, a friend, and I respect him as a friend and as a journalist. For him to bring that up, it's something big.
And he's very objective too.
So. No, very much. Like,
I like Enrique.
A lot of Dominicans get on him because he's my version in DR. Like, because I bash Cubans a lot. People are like, "Oh, you like your own people?" Like, no, I'm just a very fair guy. But he bashes.
He does the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, not saying he bashes. He just very objective.
When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, you're right.
Yeah. No, he's a very good. I see him during the City of Caribe all the time too. I see him at the stadium. I see him when I go to DR. I talk to him on the phone a few times. When he has like something with the Cubans, he'll call me, or he'll call Giordano, or he'll call Francis Romero, which is also a dear friend and a great journalist. Like when it comes to the Cubans, myself, Francis Romero is like hands down the like it for us like the best Cuban journalist right now, in my opinion, is Francis Romero. He has. You think I have sources? He has more sources than I do. Sometimes he beats me in the news, and that upsets me. But he's a great journalist. Like not only is he a good friend, he's also a great journalist. I
That's
I I
great.
I,
That's great.
I take my hat off to Francis.
So, all right. So, all right. So you said you would put it. Now, would you put Vizquel in
No,
or would you not? Okay.
let let let
I'm with
let's do the
I'm with
research.
you.
Do the research because he did settle in that case. From what I've read.
I've read that too. The thing is that this is my point. This is just
Yeah,
me. Um, prior to that incident, I would have said yes.
yeah, me too.
I would have said yes.
Me too.
I would have said yes. Pero qué pasa? Just the fact that he settled and the way that it happened is kind of
Yeah.
like, it wasn't that he was innocent. It wasn't that he was guilty, but he
From what
settled.
it might have been taken out of context what happened, but just the simple fact of doing that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I don't know, and I have to do more research. But you settled. If I'm
Right.
innocent, I never settle on anything. You know?
I agree. I want to take it to the court and get
Yeah.
get it resolved. Like, hey, all right, I want to hear innocent so that I
Yeah.
know, okay, I'm innocent.
As well as I have three going in the future.
Go ahead.
Altuve,
Let's talk about it.
Altuve,
October.
Salvi for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and Miguel Cabrera was probably all right as the all right Latin hitters. Three best Latin hitters we've seen, and I'm gonna touch different continents. I mean, different three best Latin pure hitters we've seen in the last say 20 years.
Yep.
Miguel Cabrera, Pujols, Palmeiro, right? A lot of times people try to argue that Cabrera's better than Pujols. I don't see it. They're both great
No, me
hitters,
neither. Me neither.
but
Different. They're
the
different hitters.
longevity of Pujols' career, you know, and
Yeah,
Pujols
yeah,
played with
yeah, yeah.
with nagging leg injuries for his career. Yeah, but
I
no, but
think also, you know what's funny? I think there's a part, and I know Cabrera's great. First of all, I agree with those three that you said, right?
heck of a hitter.
I always got the feeling with Miguel Cabrera. I got the same vibe that I used to get with Manny Ramirez in that he didn't care enough about the other facets of his game.
Yeah.
Where
Oh yeah, no, he was a
he
terrible
didn't
fielder.
take he didn't take care of his body, and it was not a
Yeah,
good fielder.
no, yeah, but he's such an innate hitter. You know what I'm saying? That innate talent when it comes to hitting. Like there's nobody. I mean, this guy, he the strike
It
zone.
overshadows
Nobody
everything
knows strike
else.
zone.
Overshadow, yeah.
Yeah, he even knew the batter's box. Like he told one time the guys, "Hey, this batter's box is off," and it was. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew the dimensions of the ballpark, where to put
Wow,
the
wow.
ball. The guy he told, "Hey, this batter's box is off," and when they checked, it was off. You got to give Cabrera's
And
a
you know,
like get what
no, no, no. What I was
what
gonna say was,
yeah,
and if you notice, he Cabrera said this in interviews. The guy he used to watch hitting was Edgar Martinez. And if you look at, you could see the similarities in approach. Edgar Martinez is that kind of guy.
yeah.
JD Martinez is that kind of hitter. They hit off their back foot.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
and they know the
notice,
strike zone very well. They
right,
know the strike
right.
zone, the strike zone, and the dimensions of the ballpark. I mean, also, I'm sorry I left Edgar Martinez out. I'm sorry, he's also one of the best pure hitters we've seen in the last 20 years. I got to include
Well, it's been a while
Edgar.
though. It's been now 21 years. So
Yeah,
I guess
but
so.
I'll make an
Yeah.
exception for Edgar. I'll make an exception for Edgar. He definitely belongs in, man. He's a great hitter. You can't take anything away from Edgar Martinez.
No, no, definitely. But with
Yeah,
Miguel, I mean, Miguel is probably right under Pujols as far
yeah.
as all time. I would say.
I got
In
a
my
question for
opinion,
you. I got a question for you, my
yeah.
brother. Aroldis Chapman gets 400 saves. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Aroldis Chapman to me, and I think I've told you this, but we got to say it here
Yeah,
on the show. Aroldis Chapman, and I was actually, I think, the one who brought it up to you. Aroldis
yeah.
Chapman to me is a Hall of Famer if he gets those. No, I understand.
He's
Listen,
borderline. He's borderline.
look, I know, I understand. I understand. He's not
Yeah,
closers usually don't get it unless
yeah.
you have like a million saves. That's the
That's
problem.
another thing. But he
That's the
transcended
problem.
the game. He transcended the game. I get it. He was
Aroldis
the
Chapman was the
yeah,
first guy to throw like that out of the bullpen,
yeah,
left-handed. Look at the
Yeah,
ERA. Look at
yeah.
the strikes per
All star,
walks.
all
Look at
star,
all stars.
fireman of the year. But
World Series with the
um,
Cubs. Cubs.
but
Hello,
he's
World Series with the
yeah,
Cubs. Who has a World
yeah.
Series with the Cubs?
No,
Even
but
though
they
he
almost
almost
lost.
blew it. He
Yeah,
almost
there you
blew it.
go. But thing is, all right, if he's no longer a closer, he's fallen off to the point where he's no longer a closer, which happens. But I would
Yeah,
say the magic number for me to vote for him, and I'm sorry, this is just me, is 400.
I agree.
Yeah, it's 400. No, and the thing is, Aroldis, heck of a player, great guy. Another thing, people don't understand how good of a guy he is. Aroldis helps out a
Yeah,
lot of people and doesn't say a word about it. He's helped out a lot of Cuban players, helped out Cuban people in general, and
yeah.
doesn't say no. I think he's at least 350.
I like. Listen, I love him. I
Yeah,
understand if he's probably not gonna get in,
yeah,
but I'm just saying that there's an argument there. That's all.
yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that to me
No,
there's an
definitely argument.
argument. That's it. There's an
Definitely,
argument. To me, y hablando de los venezolanos, we talked about Altuve, Salvador Perez. I don't think he's in yet, but I think he will be in. He's got more
definitely,
numbers to get to.
definitely,
But
definitely.
another Venezolano, and we mentioned closers. I think you disagreed with me offline when we talked about it, but
Yeah. K Rock.
to me, Francisco Rodriguez is a Hall of Famer to me. When you compare, when you look at, he's got 400
Yeah,
saves. He's
yeah,
got an ERA less than Trevor Hoffman.
yeah. But he doesn't. I
He's
don't.
got more strikeouts.
Yeah, I
He
don't
was
know.
more dominant than Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman played on better teams longer.
Doesn't pass the eye test for me. Doesn't pass the eye test for me.
That's fair. He used to
Yeah,
nibble a lot sometimes.
yeah.
He used to nibble a lot.
He's not as dominant of a closer as like Chapman. Usually, like this guy's a closer. That's dominant.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And,
He was
even
more
Chapman,
dominant.
right, even Chapman right now, I'm not voting for him. I would say Billy Wagner should be in.
I agree. I
Billy
agree.
Wagner should be in. He almost got in now. Billy Wagner.
Yeah. Another one from Venezuela. A lot of chamos will argue with me on this, but I just can't see it. Bobby Abreu,
No,
Hall of Fame or not?
not enough numbers. And
I agree.
it's
He's
the
close, but
power
not.
numbers. The power numbers is the thing. The power numbers.
Corner
Abreu, but
outfielder. If you're a
yeah,
corner
you
outfielder
gotta have
and
power
you don't,
numbers.
you gotta either have power numbers or you gotta have a batting average that's like ridiculous, and he doesn't
They
have either one.
all right. Vladdy and Andre Dawson are forgiven because they never reached 500 home runs. But look at what they played on. That turf messed up their knees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Running on that turf with cleats
Killed them.
yeah, it kills them.
Killed them.
That's why. And if you look at they passed the eye test. Andre Dawson, Vladdy, they passed the eye test. For me,
Yep.
Abreu does not pass the eye test. He was more of a spray hitter than he was a power hitter. And to play those corner positions, you got to be a power hitter. Hell of
Yeah,
an
I
arm.
agree. I agree. Yeah, he had a good arm.
Yeah,
Was a solid outfielder, but
yeah,
I think as he got older, though, I don't know if you remember this play with the Yankees. He ran into the wall, and that totally messed him up. He never
yeah,
was the same. He was like afraid of the wall after that
yeah.
because the
No,
the
no.
wall ruined him.
Aside from that, it doesn't pass the eye test.
I agree with
Yeah,
you. He had good speed too. Good
yeah.
speed
No,
for a big guy.
he was a what? He was a 30-30 guy or close to it.
He was like a four. I call him like a 4-2 player, like
Yeah,
almost like a 5-2 player.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
close. He was very well rounded. Very
yeah, yeah.
well
No, no,
rounded.
no.
I
He
like
was.
him.
He was. No, he's a. But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. A lot of the chamos are gonna kill me for it, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
I
I don't think he's a Hall of
agree.
Famer. Well, that's cool, but it's been a good. We've had a pretty good discussion, brother. Very good
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah, definitely. So to wrap it up,
Yeah.
Latinos who are playing right now, who do you view as potential Hall of Famers of guys right now who are close to us? You mentioned Altuve and
Yeah.
Salvador Perez. Is there anybody else who you view active who could get in the Hall of
Well,
Fame in the future?
we spoke on Chapman. Abreu, I don't think so. Let's see
No,
how
I agree.
Jordan Alvarez continues to develop. You know,
Right, right.
the Dominicans, Machado obviously could but he has
Yeah,
to. Uh, let me see.
you're forgetting a big one.
Who,
We
tell me,
mentioned him before.
who are we talking about?
Arenado.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, but also Arenado. With Machado and Arenado, you notice how they're starting to decline. You know, the guy that nobody
Right.
talks of. Nobody talks of, and he does it year round. And probably the best third baseman in the major leagues right now, Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, that guy's got the best chance, I think, right now when
And
you look
and
at what
he
he's doing.
and he throws a mean right cross too. You know,
He's nasty. Got
yeah,
power. Got
yeah,
power. Got power hook.
yeah. I was trying to get him in the ring with somebody, but doesn't want to.
No.
Yeah.
Yo creo
Now
que
he,
I think he got embarrassed by.
yeah, no,
He's
he's
shy.
actually,
He's shy.
yeah, no, he's actually embarrassed. Like he doesn't like to be asked questions about that. I don't blame him. That's nothing to. But he was defending himself against a guy who's not very well liked by anybody. And he was
Right.
actually right. What happened? You know, with your glove out like that, you can hurt somebody.
That's
But
right. That's right.
Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated players
I agree.
in the
Yeah, he's
game.
another, and yeah, the greatest Dominican switch hitter of all time.
Yeah, yeah. Is
I've been saying that.
he's in the MVP conversation this year
I think so.
in the American League?
He's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
He's in the conversation, but he's not gonna get it,
No,
bro.
obviously not.
Bro,
Aaron
come
Judge,
on.
Aaron
Look at
Judge.
this guy. What this guy is insane. And I gotta live here, and I got it in New York, and I
No,
gotta
no,
hear all these
Aaron Judge.
Yankee fans all day.
Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are going to battle it out for that. Soto's another guy that
Oh,
Soto. All right, even though like Soto is like the Spanish Bryce Harper. You know what I'm saying? Good player, great player, but
yeah.
sometimes he's overhyped. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I
They're,
agree
they're,
with
they're,
you.
they're going to finish with great numbers both. They're probably
No,
going to
but
go.
this year he's lived up to the hype, though. I gotta
Yeah,
be fair.
well,
I gotta be
Yankee
fair, and
Stadium. No,
I'm not the
that
biggest
hey,
Soto fan, but
no. I think Soto's a great hitter.
yep.
But that right field porch in Yankee Stadium for him, a guy who has that much power, is so patient at the plate. Now, you tell me, Jordan Alvarez or Soto, who's the better hitter?
This year Soto,
Yeah, definitely
but
this year, Soto.
this year Soto. However, with all the marbles on, and I don't care. You guys, we're gonna cut this clip and put it out there. I don't care. You can ask anybody. When the money is on the line, I've seen so many big hits from Jordan
Jordan.
Alvarez.
Yeah,
I like his aggressive approach more
yeah,
because I'm afraid with Soto, when the money's on the line, he'll be clutch, but there's
yeah,
times where he's gonna be there looking for a walk. I don't
yeah.
want you to walk. I
No,
want you to hit.
Jordan,
Jordan don't
World
care about
Series,
walking. Jordan's gonna
ALCS.
hit a
Yeah,
home run.
yeah. Throughout the playoffs. Yeah. No. Yeah, Jordan's a hell of a hitter. Jordan, I
Jordan,
think when it's all said and done, Jordan will be either Jordan or Chapman will be our next Hall of Famer. Abreu, I don't see it because he's towards the end of his career and he came
oh
late.
no, yeah.
And if Abreu comes young, he's probably knocking at the door of 400 home runs right now. You know?
He's had a great career though.
Yeah,
He's
no,
had a
no, no.
great career. Go look at his number.
MVP,
Tipo tiene número. Tiene número.
MVP Rookie of the Year,
Yeah,
1,500 hits,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's it. Like,
He
I don't
got
know.
hit late,
This year,
you know.
I see him that he's lost a step. He looks lost at the plate, and it's not him. It's his reflexes. I think his reflexes are
It's
done.
father time, bro. Father
Yeah, it's
time, you know.
undefeated.
There's
You ever heard
nothing.
that saying?
There's nothing to be ashamed. Yeah, it's undefeated.
Yeah.
There's
So
nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, brother.
I like him as a ball player. I think I think
Yeah,
as a hitter, he's been a great
yeah,
great player. Got here late,
yeah,
just got here
yeah.
old. You know.
27. Yeah,
Yeah, if you get here at 27, like tú tienes que arrancar de una vez, and you got to be in impeccable shape to have a long career.
you know another guy about Nelson Cruz. I think he is.
A Hall of
He,
Famer?
he
I
started
strongly
late.
disagree. I disagree.
27. He's like a Abreu. But look at the end of his career. How he had like 4 or 5 straight 40 home run seasons. I think he gets in late, man. I think he gets in late.
He's a steroid guy too, right?
Yeah, but that was yeah.
I'm
But
just saying. I'm
after
just saying. I'm
yeah,
just saying. I'm
but
not
that was one time. It's
one time.
him, Yasmani Grandal, all those guys. But all right, but after the steroid speculation, right? His play didn't drop off. He was probably better after the steroid.
All right. So here we go. This is what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna go on record as saying this.
Yeah.
If if Nelson Cruz gets in, Juan Gonzalez better get in. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
definitely.
Juan Gonzalez was better than Nelson Cruz. I'm sorry.
On his worst
Period.
day. Yeah, definitely on his worst day. Well, Gonzalez was his back, like we were talking about the other day. Juan Gonzalez is a hell of a hitter, man. Igor? Oh, man.
Igor, yeah.
Two-time MVP, right?
Yeah. Two-time
Yeah.
MVP. I'm sorry. Nelson
Yeah.
Cruz was a good player, Not better than Juan Igor. Sorry.
No. But also Igor had not to take away from him, but bro, you couldn't have pitched anybody on that team. Igor, you had didn't you have a Palmeiro around them? Did you have A-Rod around them too?
You had Ivan.
Ivan too. Ivan, A-Rod,
Sierra.
Was Sierra on that team?
Ruben Sierra too.
Had probably the best statistical season I've ever seen for a Latin player. He had 29 home runs. He had like 15 triples. He had like 40 doubles, 100 something RBIs. Hit 300.
He was a great player. That's another one that if he would have dedicated himself better, because he was a little. He had problems off the field. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. He liked the nightlife a little too much. Yeah.
Quería cantar salsa.
He liked the nightlife a little too much.
If he had more discipline, he could have been a Hall of Famer.
El Indio was a hell of a player. There's no argument there. No argument there. Hell of a player.
Yeah, but he just, he liked to drink a lot and other stuff. Not getting into that, but
no. Like I said, he liked the nightlife a little too much.
Yeah, he liked to hang out a lot.
Yeah.
So man, that's it, bro. Damn, that was fun.
Thank you for having me on, brother. And anytime you want, we can talk about any topic. You know that.
Thank you, brother. Listen, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. Yusseff
we
Díaz.
Gotta have Willie on. Willie.
Definitely, we gotta do it. Yeah, we gotta get la tres Antilla.
Yeah.
Antilla, call it Antilla baseball, something.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever you want to call it, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate having you on.
Thank you for having me on, my brother.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Yusseff Díaz. All right, talk to you later.
All right, brother.
Yusseff Díaz of Pelota Cubana. Thank you for joining, of course. And of course, if you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the like. Make sure to follow me on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter/X. Always live life as if you're in a 3-2 count. Until next time.